And good evening and welcome in to Struts Wings in Oxford for another round of the Tuesday night FNN High School Football Coaches Show. Jim Jacobs and the Pulitzer Prize. No, I'm just kidding. The writer for the Anniston Star.
In my dreams.
Yeah, Joe Medley joining us here at Struts for another round tonight of high school football chat for the next 90 minutes. And we got a house full of winners tonight, don't we?
Yeah, and a whole lot of blue over here.
We're surrounded by blue.
Yes, Piedmont blue, White Plains blue.
You know, and I didn't realize that the two blues are about the same.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at the different factions, they're separated by tables, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah. They're only separated by a few miles in the county.
Isn't that the truth? All right, and of course we've got a full lineup tonight. Lots of great guests coming up for you. But first, let's talk back about this past Friday night and all the action. Let's start with where I was. Were you surprised or what?
I'm not surprised by who won, but the score, yeah, that surprised me.
Joe, in all honesty, the game was over in the first quarter. Mm-hmm. I mean, it really was. Lincoln came out and just punched Montford in the mouth and didn't have any trouble moving the football up and down the field, got big chunks of yardage, pretty much got to do what they wanted to do. And for some reason, Montford just couldn't respond. And, the game got out of hand early and, you can second guess what happened at that point, but it just got away from them, and you put up. I mean, Lincoln had only scored 50-something points the whole season.
No more than 14 in one game.
Yeah, and they come up with 69 at home, and they're going to need the momentum because they've got a pretty tough stretch if they're going to make the playoffs. They've got 4 region games left. They got a pretty easy one this Thursday, I think, that they can take care of with, I believe it's Corner that's coming in to play the Golden Bears. But, of course, they got to play Alexandria. I think that they're kind of thinking that, if we don't win that one, we're okay. But they've got 2 more there at home. They got to win out. I mean, they got to win them all but one to have a chance to finish 4th in that region.
And don't you want to see that Lincoln-Alexandria game? If Lincoln's going to score like this and the way Alexandria is scoring, it could be another Piedmont-Jacksonville.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and that's next on the agenda. Let's get to that one because when I have people telling me on social media Saturday morning that was possibly the greatest game in Calhoun County football history. Mm-hmm. I got to ask you, where does it rank? Because you've seen a lot of them.
I've seen a lot of them, and that was way up there. That was, I've seen a lot of dramatic finishes, right? And you've seen games where one team has a lot of playmakers. In this game, both teams had playmakers, and both teams were making plays. You got. I saw both quarterbacks in this game. I saw Jack and then, of course, Jim Ogle for Jacksonville. I saw both of them launch a ball, 55 yards down the field in this game. And they've got receivers that can run it down. And they just traded back and forth. And, Jacksonville went up 17 points, I think, 3 times in that game. But you never got the feeling that Piedmont was out of it.
And, as many times as I've had a chance to see Piedmont play, but in games that we've done, the one constant that I've always had with these guys is it don't matter what the scoreboard says. If there is time on the clock, you better hope and pray you get the ball back because they're going to come at you. And 9 out of 10, no, it's more like 9 3/4 of the time, they're going to score points. I mean, they're going to find a way to get something done.
And the real pivotal drive in that game was the touchdown they scored to come within 45-42.
Right.
They moved 96 yards or 94 yards, and they went hurry up. And obviously they had to because of the clock. They had to score twice. But then, too, I think Jacksonville got a little bit gassed, and you started seeing guys cramping up on the field. And at that point, you kind of felt like there was nothing they could do to stop them.
And Clint, I think, said that in the paper that they, kind of just ran out of gas and just didn't have anything left.
Yeah, they, to Piedmont's credit, they've got depth. They've got a lot of guys that play one way. Jacksonville, most of their skill guys play both ways, and I think that showed up in the fourth quarter a little bit.
Yeah. What a football game, though. I mean, to be down 17 points a couple of times in the ball game and to come back and win it by 10 in the final, the final half of the fourth quarter, pretty much, from what I understand. That just speaks, it's just another chapter in the Steve Smith book.
Yeah, and to think, though, but Jacksonville did drive into position for a chance to possibly win the game, and then that guy, Omar Foster,
Omarian,
took it back 85 yards or not. I've seen different yards. I didn't throw the beanbag right when he first caught it, so I don't know what the exact yardage figure was, but it started way down here and ended way down there.
And I tell you, another game that I thought was interesting, I mean, it ended up the way I expected it to, but Cleburne County went over to Alexandria and showed up.
Yeah.
I mean, they made a football game of it.
I think, and if Cleburne County comes out of these two games that they've played in a row, Hanley and Alexandria healthy, I think they're going to be a pretty good team on both sides of it. Those are by far the two best teams they played. And they're going to benefit from playing those teams even losing, right? One of those was not a region game, so
right.
it's not going to hurt them. And I don't think anybody in that region is going to beat Hanley, so you don't really factor that in.
Right.
And so I think playing that kind of competition is taking a team that was already off to a promising season and gotten them a little bit of playoff exposure, I think.
I was really impressed with Coach Burns when we had him here a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is the first time I've had a chance to spend any real time with him, and I got a feeling that, with the tradition that they've always had over there and, kind of from where he's come from, I think if he can keep, things moving in the right direction and what's happening in Montford not happen in Heflin, I think he's got a chance to get that program back in some pretty good shape.
It helps, first of all, when you got players in your feeder system,
yep.
and they stay, which is it seems in today's day and time. It seems like high school football needs a transfer portal like college has now, the way the kids are moving around. But that's never a given. But if he keeps them there, and of course he's got a quarterback for the next couple of years.
Yep, he's a stud.
Yeah, they could be good.
Absolutely. And I think they've got a good chance of, they're still in the mix for second in that region. Some things have got to happen for them, but they're still in the mix, and they've got some tough games ahead. Cherokee, I think they've got to go to Cherokee County, and don't they still have to play Anniston?
I believe that's so, yes.
Yes. So still got some tough games ahead, but wow. And, of course, another one of our teams here tonight, the White Plains Wildcats, got their win. I was kidding Coach Sprayberry over here a minute ago. I said, man, we're going to get you a T-shirt that says 1-0.
and then Coach Tyree talked about how when he had to fill in for him in baseball back in the spring.
He's actually 3-0.
He's actually 3-0. So
Coach Sprayberry said it's going to say 1 and done.
he may be the X
factor.
You
see, coaching already made him bald.
Well, what's my excuse?
Yeah, writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, having to go to all these football games and experience all this. And, of course, our third team here tonight is a top 10 team from Class 2A and having a great season. The Spring Garden Panthers have made it down from Cherokee County.
Yeah, Jason Howard has done something special there at Spring Garden. He had a stint there, then he went to Ohatchee for a couple of years. He already had them winning at Spring Garden before he went to Ohatchee, and then he came back, and it's like they picked right up.
Yep.
And then, too, they move up to 2A for the first time in their history last year, and they've done nothing but win.
Well, let's talk about some of the games on the board for this week. I know that there's a handful that we're going to want to get to maybe a little more in depth later. But what's the top of the list for you? Is it Piedmont Ohatchee?
Piedmont Ohatchee is going to be an interesting game, obviously because Ohatchee won that game last year on the Field of Champions. So Piedmont's going to be looking for revenge, and of course Ohatchee's got some situations right now. We're going to see how that's going to look Friday night. So. there's going to be a lot of intrigue there, and I think, this could be the game that decides if this region does not end up in a tie for the first time in 4 years.
Right.
And so that's
meaning Ohatchee would have to win to force that.
Right.
But if Piedmont wins Friday, I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion they're going to be region champs.
They still got to play Wellborn at the end, and Wellborn obviously has improved a lot the last 2 weeks. Or they've improved a lot since that tough start that they had against some really good competition. But
that game's at Piedmont, isn't it?
I think it was at Piedmont last year. Would it be at Piedmont?
No, it was at Wellborn last year because we did it.
You're right. My memory. I'm not only.
They went back to back at Wellborn when they did the adjustment. The classification thing.
That's right. You're right.
And then I think they play at Piedmont this year.
You're right.
And Wellborn's going to have a bad taste about that because the last time they were on that turf, they got hammered in the state semis.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but that's I think if Piedmont gets through this game, they're probably looking at an outright championship unless something crazy happens, and then you got the usual suspects fighting for 3, 4, or 2, 3, and 4.
Yep. Well, I think Sachs is in pretty good shape for 2.
Yes.
If Piedmont wins Friday, I think Sachs is in pretty. So then you come back to Ohatchee, Hoax Bluff, and
Wellborn.
And Wellborn for the final spot.
And Ohatchee beat Wellborn early.
Right.
So I think you're probably looking at them, for the third spot, unless they have some injuries or something crazy happens there. And then Wellborn and Hoax Bluff for that 4th spot.
And they play in, 2 weeks?
Yes.
And it's at the Hill. So, Wellborn's a tough out at the Hill.
They are, and they're getting to be a tough route. They scored 50-plus the last 2 weeks.
All right, well, Jake, cue the graphic for coming up tonight on the Tuesday night high school football coaches show. There you see it on your screen. We have got a lot of talent that's in the room this evening, and we're looking forward to talking to each and every one of them. Coach Jason Howard from Spring Garden will join us first. Chandler Tyree from White Plains, an incredible young man who is just a junior. Our player of the week from Piedmont this week, Jack Hayes. You think his mama's probably tired of building out places to put awards for him?
Well, between him and his older
His brother. Yeah, one of them's got to move. And then, of course, my partner to the right here, Joe Medley, here with us all evening as well. We will get to it. Coach Jason Howard of the Spring Garden Panthers comes on set with us next here as we are live at Struts Wings in Oxford on the Friday Night Network.
Harrison Sports and Chiropractic, located in Anniston, Alabama, is dedicated to their patients. Car accidents, injuries, pain management, or even if you're just feeling the wear and tear of everyday life, Dr. Farr and Dr. Harrison can help. Call them today at 256-231-0417 or like them on Facebook. Walk-ins are welcome, most insurance accepted. Contact them today. That's 256-231-0417.
Blue Mountain Pallet and Wood Recycling is a locally owned business and has been serving Northeast Alabama since 1997. We provide a variety of wood products at reasonable prices. We support our churches, schools, and law enforcement. Ronald Reagan once said, entrepreneurs and their small enterprises are responsible for almost all the economic growth in the United States. Blue Mountain Pallet, 3614 Old Birmingham Highway. Come see us.
In Alabama, school spirit is in the air on Friday nights. At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're giving our customers the opportunity to show their school spirit every day with our new Spirit debit card. We've designed a unique card for every Calhoun County school that includes the school's logo. So every time you use the card, you're showing your school spirit. Come in and get your school spirit debit card today. We've got spirit at FNN Bank. Service, solutions, and strength. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to Struts Wings in Oxford, home of the best wings, burgers, sliders, hamburger steaks, barbecue potatoes, you name it. They got it. And what'd you do tonight?
I had the sliders and wings combo.
Sliders and wings combo. Coach Howard? What'd you have tonight?
I went with 15 jumbo wings tonight.
There you go. I like that. Now, somebody told me when they heard that we were going to have you on the show tonight, they said, well, just sit him down, give him his microphone, and say, hey, Coach, and you take care of the rest of it. You got a reputation of willing to talk.
Yeah, I've been told a couple of times I might like to talk too much. No, you need to stay here. Now, you like to talk a little bit too now, Joe. Right, talk one or the other now. We don't know which one.
Coach, you're going to have to train him because he doesn't talk a lot. He's used to doing this or this.
There you go.
We're working him into this microphone thing. Tell us about your season so far and talk to us about your team.
We're sitting here right now. We lost a tough one a couple weeks ago to Cleveland, and that sort of put us behind the 8 ball where, we're in a position that we're not really accustomed to be in. But we knew this year was going to be a little bit of a rebuilding year. We do have a good many seniors on this team, and I told them after the Cleveland game that was the first region game that this group has ever lost. So I told them, I said, hey, the loss don't define, how we're going to respond after that loss. That's going to be what's going to define us. And I felt like last week we had a good week of preparation, and then going into the Hoax Bluff game, team that beat us last year. That was our only regular season loss last year, and being able to have them come to our place, and I felt like we played really well at times. And to get that win over a quality program like them after bouncing back after the loss to Cleveland, I thought was critical for us in moving forward.
Of course, Chaz stepped in at quarterback this year for you. We understand he's injured now. Give us an update on his circumstance.
He had surgery this morning. They did surgery on him this morning. He broke his leg, tore all the ligaments in his ankle. Put it in terms of the way they put it to us when Tua did ankle sprain. His was a grade 1. Chaz was a grade 3, which is a lot worse.
Wow.
He's looking. They had to plate the bone, and then they went in and had to stabilize the ankle because there's basically no ligaments left there. And he's looking at a pretty good road to recovery. He's looking at around October 14th before they can start therapy. And then October 14th, if everything's good, 6 weeks from then, before he can be weight-bearing on it, and then he'll start doing some more active therapy on it at that time. So, realistically, he's got a chance to get back maybe halfway through basketball season and, salvage some of that. But, critical loss for us. I mean, Chaz was averaging close to 250 all-purpose yards a game, and senior leadership, and I mean, everything that we had sort of been doing, we had geared around letting him read it and letting him make decisions and stuff like that. And that's sort of what we built our offense. We changed it a little bit after Riley graduated. Riley was really a pocket passing type quarterback, and Chaz was more of that athlete that could run. So we put a bunch of things in for him to give him option of run pass stuff. So we've had to go back. We hadn't taken anything out. I'm very confident in the young man that's going to step in and fill his place, and then I'm confident in the person at small school ball. We don't have a second string guy waiting to step in. It's move a receiver to quarterback, this guy to get your best 11 on the field. You have to move some people around.
Right.
So, like I said, we're going to continue with everything we do, and we got a 10th grader that's going to come in there and be quarterback now. And on the bright side of that, he's going to be our quarterback for the next 2 years, so he'll get a lot of experience in there.
And his name is?
Chapel Pope.
Chapel Pope. Okay.
Chaz's little brother.
I'm not going to ask because it's too obvious.
Yeah, it's Chaz's little brother. And, Chapel the other night, Chapel had 5 receptions for about 90 yards. So, now we got to find somebody to fill his spot at the receiving thing because everybody's doing so many bracket coverages and gimmick coverages on Cooper that we got to have somebody opposite of Cooper to step up. And I feel confident that we'll – don't know exactly who it'll be now, but we got a couple of kids there that I think could step in and, do that.
Back to Chaz for just a minute. It's amazing to me, Coach, how what would have just a few years ago been a career-ending injury has turned into something that can be repaired and, actually get the athlete back on the field.
Oh, it really is. I mean, right after it happened, we got people talking to us about, hey, they can do bone growth hormone type stuff in there that, helps speed that recovery rate up, and, electric shock stuff in there to, really when they didn't know that the ligaments were completely torn, they're like, man, he can do all type of electric wave shock stuff that'll get it done. We had all kinds of people telling us all this stuff. Of course, we didn't know to what extent it was, I guess you could say, because of the COVID stuff. Most of the Friday night clinics are shut down, so It's Saturday morning now before we could get him in to see anybody. So he asked the stew out of it, but when I got over there to him, he told me when we was on field, he said, it's broke. He said, I heard it snap. He said, I literally heard it snap when it broke. And it was a clean break. It broke it all the way through. And then I was hoping that maybe it had been dislocated, and when he rolled, was the ankle popping back in place. But then when I saw it, there's right there on that break was about the size of a quarter, was already purple and had an indentation in it. So at that point I thought, okay, it's broke. But if we don't have ligament damage, then we'd still be looking at about 4 or 5 weeks tops, and he'd be back by the time playoffs came. If we was able to, get into the playoffs, then we could have him come playoff time. But once we figured out that the high ligaments and everything was torn, it's the equivalent to a severe high ankle sprain on top of a broken bone.
Wow.
And you can't train, and like I said, they had the ligaments were so tore up that they ended up having to go in and put things in to stabilize the ankle. Just let that heal till they can get to the point of starting to do some therapy. And like I said, he's still 8 weeks out probably from being able to put any weight on the foot.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the young man will heal like he's supposed to, and, at some point be able to get back and participate.
I think he's a competitor. I tell you what, if anybody can overcome this type of injury and fight through all of it, it's Chaz. Chaz loves the sport. Last year he played on a torn meniscus. He missed 2 weeks, but other than that, he braced that thing up and played on torn meniscus all year and turned into his second-team All-State after missing a couple of weeks and playing on torn meniscus all year. So he's a competitor. There's not a kid that works any harder. He's in the weight room 7 days a week on his own, up there at night after we get done with practice, and he's going to rehab to the point that they're going to have to tell him, hey, you might be overdoing it. You're going to have to pull back. So if there's anybody that I believe could overcome this and, get back and salvage part of his basketball and then going into baseball, he's a 3-sport athlete, then I think that's Chaz is the kid that could do it.
Great. Well, Coach, let's talk about your region just a little bit. Here in Calhoun County, we talk a lot about, 3A Region 5, which you know a lot about from your Ohatchee days, but and then, of course, the 4A region that a lot of the teams here are in, about how tough they are. But you're in a little region up there where you are where, there's some good football teams that might watch come November.
They are. I think, we're in one of the strongest 2A regions around. You take Mars Hill. I mean, I feel like right now Mars Hill and Lynette are probably, sort of the cream of the crop. But then after that, I feel like we really got probably 5 teams in our region that on a given Friday can play with just about anybody else, around. So, Cleveland this year, Coach Gilliland does a great job up there at Cleveland, and he has a senior-based team, really, really good team. And then Southeastern's having the best year they've ever had, so they got it rolling right there. Then you still look at Westbrook, who's Westbrook. I mean, Coach Knowles does a good job. They're going to be disciplined. And, hey, Westbrook has led, there's ahead of Southeastern. They've led in a bunch of games and just lost it late. And then Sandrock may be one of the most improved teams around. I mean, Sandrock's playing good football right now.
And then on the other side of Gaston, you've got Sandrock, Westbrook, Southeastern right in a row, correct?
Yes, all 3 of them right in a row. We hit Cleveland, and we've already played the West End Locust Fort. So now we go Gaston, then we got to go to Westbrook, then we get to go to Sandrock, and then Southeastern comes to us week 9. And then we close it out with Wadley's, who's having one of the better years they've had in the past couple of years.
Yeah, they're a dangerous football team.
They really are. I knew last year when we played them last year that they were young, and had a lot of good-looking athletes out there. And I knew this probably a year or two away from being back to where the standard that Wadley's used to. And sort of the way it sounds right now, they're back up to that same standard they was several years ago.
You talked about multi-sport athletes and small school ball. You got a real good one sitting up there right now in Cooper Austin. Can you kind of speak to what he's meant to your program and then just to Spring Garden athletics in general?
I mean, he really epitomizes. He is the signature of what, Spring Garden athletics is. I mean, he's Spring Garden through and through. Whole family's from Spring Garden. Of course, brother graduated there, and of course everybody knows little sister and all that. And of course, mom and dad, everybody knows them.
Yep.
But Cooper, and it's this thing that I give Brad a hard time about all the time. Cooper may enjoy football more than he enjoys basketball. And, that blows people's mind. People are like, what are you? No, that can't, that's almost blasphemy to say something like that. But he does, and, he is back-to-back first-team All-State player, and he's one of the better receivers in North Alabama. I mean, I'd put Cooper up against anybody. Then when we turn around and get on the basketball court, he's going to be one of the best point guards around. I mean, he's just good at it. He is good at everything he does, has a great work ethic, and, tough kid. I mean, we get ready. He's banged up a little bit right now, but last year we're playing in the area tournament, and he rolls his ankle. Westbrook game finishes it, and they actually put him in a hard cast, and he plays the next two games in a hard cast on his ankle. So he goes to Jack State, and they put him in a hard cast, cut it off after the game, rehab him till we get ready to play again, put him back in another hard cast, and he plays with a hard cast on. So, gutsy, gritty kid.
Wow.
You think his dad's a coach or something?
You'd think he would,
mom too.
Yeah. Mom and dad, you think, may have a little, they baby him too much. That's sort of what
Is that what it is? Well, I want to finish up with talking about just the Spring Garden community and the Spring Garden way, because, we were up there a couple of years ago to do one of the football games, and, haven't been able to get up there to do a basketball game, but I got to tell you, that's something we'd love to do. The facilities there and what you guys are able to do as a small town or small community and a small school, to me, is amazing. I mean, I think your football facility is one of the best I've been to shoot a football game for television. I mean, it's incredible.
Well, thank you. It's pretty right there where it says, especially, sun goes down right there over it. And, hey, for the record, we got Wi-Fi out there now. Services, we do have it. So you guys can come back out there. We got Wi-Fi in the gym and Wi-Fi at the stadium now. Last year with all
they probably had to steal it from somewhere.
We did have to do that. We can actually thank COVID whenever they came out and said, hey, everybody's got to be on GoFan and guys do tickets like that. It was like, hey, that could be a problem out here in Spring Garden. We don't have no service. And they said, well, we're going to get y'all Wi-Fi.
Have to drive to Piedmont to order your tickets.
There you go.
I went to a 7A school last week where there was no room in the press box for the press. So
yeah,
I'll take what you got.
There you go. But thank y'all. We appreciate y'all coming out there covering it, and
we definitely want to get back because it's a beautiful setting. It really is. So, well, tell us about the two young men. We talked about Austin for just a little bit. Who else is he with you?
Landon Goins. He's been with me since ninth grade. He was all-state punter last year. He's been all region, all county, everything at defensive end for us. He's one of them that we just sort of built it around. One of the better baseball players around. He's also a multi-sport athlete and phenomenal pitcher for us in baseball. And like I said, he just a really good kid. He's been Spring Garden his whole time, but he sort of anchors our defense, and that's sort of what we've hung our hat on, really. Everybody talks about us a lot with the offense, but our defense is sort of what we've hung our hat on for the past couple of years. Coach Ragsdale does a real good job. We've had, I think, 3 shutouts out of the 5 games this year so far, and Landon's one of the major cogs in that. I mean, Landon and Cooper, and like I said, Cooper, we're able to say, okay, there's our best receiver. You got him one-on-one, go lock him down, and don't have to worry about that. And Landon, who is one of them that everybody sort of does a scheme to run away from Landon. So we can put Landon over there and then slide everybody sort of to the other side and do some stuff, try to outnumber them at a point of attack with that. And like I said, both of them are seniors. The other night, Cleveland was first region game that they've lost. And both of them are captains for us this year, which to me, that's the only awards I give out for football. I mean, I recognize our all-county, all-region, all that stuff, but we don't give out individual awards. Team comes in my office one by one, looks me in the eye and tells me who they want their captains to be and why. And, Chaz and these two was the 3 permanent captains for this year's team.
Can't argue with that. Coach, I know it's not a short drive down from Spring Garden, so we appreciate you guys bringing it down, and hopefully the food was worth the trip. And,
it was.
And always great to see you and get to spend a few minutes with you.
Thank y'all for having us, guys. I appreciate it.
We'll get your players in here right after the break. Coming up straight ahead here on the Tuesday Night Coaches Show on the Friday Night Network.
Step into the offices of J. Britt Middlebrook, CPA, where you'll find professional one-on-one service for business and individual clients. In this ever-changing tax and economic climate, you can count on receiving the expert advice you need. J. Britt Middlebrook works hard to provide every client what they need to meet all deadlines. Tax season will be here soon. For all your accounting service needs, call or stop by at 1913 Berry Street in Oxford. That's J. Britt Middlebrook, CPA.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You will be glad you did.
Griffin Laser Engraving in Lincoln is your authorized local dealer for personalized Yeti products. Get your Yeti customized for your team, a business, or a special event. Your color, graphics, even photos. At Griffin Laser Engraving, we make it the way you want it. Order just one or hundreds, and you'll find a full line of Yeti coolers and accessories on hand, even the hard-to-find items. Nationally recognized, but right here at home in Lincoln for quality awards, trophies, powder coating, and personalized Yeti items, Griffin Laser Engraving.
And the Tuesday night high school football coaches show. Man, guys, y'all quit looking so nervous. We're going to have some fun, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's start. Welcome back to the Coaches Show. Struts Wings here in Oxford, Jim Jacobs, along with a couple of the members of the Spring Garden Panthers football team. And let me introduce first, let's see, this is Landon Goins.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
and
sir.
this is Ace Austin's brother.
That's probably one thing that bothers me worse than anything else.
Is it?
Yes, sir.
This is Cooper Austin, folks. He is Ace's big brother, right?
Yes, sir.
And you can still beat her one-on-one,
Yes,
right?
sir.
You
Yes,
think?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal. We were talking about that earlier when we were visiting up at the table, but let's get to football and talk about the season so far. You guys have had a pretty good year. From what I understand from Coach, you experienced for the first time in your football career a region loss at Cleveland the other night. I'm kind of wondering, Landon, what was that like? I mean, mentally, what was that like?
It felt bad. It was different, but we came back from it, got a good win against a good team. But we had a few mistakes that just let us down. Started off bad with momentum. Let's drop.
Did you feel like, well, let me put it this way. Is it a game you should have won, could have won, or, did just a better team get you that night? I mean, how'd you walk away from the game?
I felt like we were the better team. We didn't play to our standards.
Okay, how about it?
Like Landon said, I mean, they was a good team, don't get me wrong. Cleveland,
Sure.
Cleveland, they got good players.
they're unbeaten right now.
Yes, sir, but I think our mistakes really is what shot ourselves in the foot.
Okay. Well, and I mean, anytime when you can walk away from a game that you lose and you can, kind of see that, we did some things that cost us the football game, they didn't necessarily just put it on us. I mean, we could have, this is a team we can play with.
Yes, sir.
You got a hard road the rest of the year. I mean, you got relatively, you got a team coming in this week that you ought to have some success with. But after that, boy, it's a gauntlet.
Yes, sir.
Talk about how you mentally prepare and, get ready to try to face these teams because, bottom line, guys, is to win the region this year, you're going to have some help. I mean, because of the loss to Cleveland, Southside or Southeastern's going to have to beat them, and then you're going to have to beat Southeastern and force a three-way tie, and then we see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, like Coach and them always say, every day you got to go hard in every rep and just really focus on making yourself better. Like the saying that he says, 1% better every day. Just trying to make you better, make your teammates better, really. And
okay. Talk a little bit about, or talk to me about how many sports you play.
2.
What do you play?
Football and baseball.
So you're That's right. He said, Coach said you were one of the better baseball guys around.
Pitching-wise.
Pitching-wise. And, I know you play basketball. You play baseball?
No, sir.
So you're a 2-sport guy, too?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how much does your conditioning and all change when you because, you go right from football to basketball. And having played basketball, I know that the conditioning you need for one versus the other is very different.
Yes, sir. It is a lot different. In football, you have to condition and all, but you still got a little bit of a breather in between plays. But with basketball,
it's
you
constant
never know.
go.
It might not ever stop.
That's right.
Going back and forth.
And that's a different kind of conditioning.
Yes, sir, it is.
What's it like to play for your dad?
It's fun. Sometimes there's some arguments, some blockades, but it's fun. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
And you, what about baseball? How do you feel about playing? Going from football. Of course, you get the basketball season off, and then you got to play baseball.
I got to keep up my conditioning, and baseball is not as bad because you got some running around, but you ain't got much.
Right. You got to be. To me, baseball is really one of the more skill games there is because you got to be like if you pitch, you got to be a really good pitcher to make your mark in the game.
Yes,
and that's just walking out on the mound and controlling the strike zone and stuff.
Yes,
and if you have a good day, your team can do good, and if you don't, well, you're probably out by the 4th inning, right?
Yes, sir. Condition in baseball is more arm condition. If you can't throw a whole game or all your pitches, it's going to drop you off 2 innings, 3 innings into the game, and you'll drop down and not be your best.
All right, who is the big man on campus between the two Austins? You or Ace?
I'd probably have to say Ace, I guess.
You think Ace?
I guess so, yes, sir.
Really, what's it like to have a sister that is so recognized statewide for what she does on the basketball court?
For me, it don't really change nothing for me, but
because you grow up with it every day.
Yes, sir. And Ace is such a humble person. She don't really care to get any advertisement, I guess you could say, but. With Ace, it's fun. It's fun growing up because she's a competitor.
Oh, she's incredible. She's just an incredible basketball player. And I wonder, I'm sure she gets tired of it sometimes. Do you get tired of it?
No.
Huh?
Never. It's always something. It don't matter if it's on the PlayStation, card games. We're competing.
That's great. Well, listen, guys, thanks for coming down tonight. I hope you enjoyed your supper, and congratulations on the season. You both have had a great career if it ended tomorrow, but certainly you got some games ahead of you that can, make the season even better. And congratulations on what you've done so far in your careers as seniors, and finish it out strong.
Yes, sir. Thank
All right.
you.
We're going to grab a break. When we come back, we get to the Piedmont Bulldogs. And, boy, there's a lot to talk about when the high school football coaches show continues here on the Friday Night Network.
Harrison Sports and Chiropractic, located in Anniston, Alabama, is dedicated to their patients. Car accidents, injuries, pain management, or even if you're just feeling the wear and tear of everyday life, Dr. Farr and Dr. Harrison can help. Call them today at 256-231-0417 or like them on Facebook. Walk-ins are welcome, most insurance accepted. Contact them today. That's 256-231-0417.
Anniston Auto Trim and Body Shop is your best stop for full-service auto body repair, including all body work and professional painting. They also specialize in complete classic car restoration. When you have an accident, you want it back the way it was, and that's what you get with the team at Anniston Auto Trim. The same is true if you're ready to restore your dream car or a timeless family classic. They work with all major insurance companies and provide free estimates for every job. Come by today and see Stacy Jennings and the gang at Anniston Auto Trim and Body Shop, just up the hill off Quintard on Greenbrier Deer Road.
The tire, arguably the most important part of a car. Without it, we could not stop, we could not go, we couldn't drive at all. They come in all sizes, brands, treads, prices, and ratings. How do you know which is the right tire for you? Thankfully, there's Cobb Automotive, and they have been answering this question since 1981. With a large selection of brands and sizes in stock, you are sure to get the right tire for the right price. Cobb Automotive, located on Highway 21 across from Walmart in Oxford, and 2001 Quintard Avenue in Anniston.
All right, welcome back to Struts Wings here in Oxford, the Tuesday night high school football coaches show. Time for the Piedmont Bulldogs segment. To my right, Coach James Blanchard, who's been with Coach Smith up in Piedmont since Sunshine, I think.
That's it. It's been a long time.
And this guy needs no introduction at all. He is the quarterback of the Bulldogs and has been almost as long, I think, as Coach Blanchard's been coaching. What'd you start, the 8th grade, 7th grade?
I started playing with the varsity in 8th grade.
In the 8th grade, and of course, it's Jack Hayes, our player of the week. And Coach, let's start with what everybody around is just saying was an incredible football game this past Friday night up at the Field of Champions. From your perspective, where does that one kind of fit in what kind of game that the two teams had?
Well, it was definitely one of the biggest shootouts, I've been associated with at Piedmont. Jacksonville, man, really good football team. Great athletes all over the field. And it was just a shootout. I mean, it was probably one of the wildest games I've been associated with since I've been at Piedmont. There's just so many things happen in that game, and it's kind of mind-blowing.
It didn't say a whole lot about defense, did it?
Yeah, we didn't play too good the first half. We kind of just in the second half come out and slowed them down, but you got that many athletes, it's hard to slow them all down.
Coach, you've been around a long time, and you've seen the changes in the game. Where's all the scoring of all these points coming from? I mean, because it's everywhere. I mean, from Thompson to Piedmont to everybody's just putting up video game points.
Right. I just think offensive coordinators or, head coaches, stuff like that, have figured out how to get the one-on-one matchups now. I think the play calling is a little faster. A lot of people do the hurry-up offense now and get more plays, per game than what we used to. Used to, like, get in the huddle and call a play, go up to the line, and knock off, a minute or so of that. Now you can get 3 or 4 plays in a minute.
Right. Are the schemes changing?
I think it is. That's what I'm saying. The matchups. I think the offensive side of the ball has figured out how to get. Back a long time ago. It's the wishbone, and then it went to the eye, and then 2 backs, and then maybe 1 back and 4 wide. And now most of the time now everybody's going empty, and on defense, you're going to have a lot of athletes covering them guys. And, you go 5 wide, and there are 5 athletes. Usually you got to have some linebackers in there, some, defensive, linemen and stuff like that. and then you got to throw out 5 athletes to cover these other 5 athletes.
Is the defensive answer to this fast-paced, high-powered offense, is it all pressure from up front and people in the secondary that can cover guys one-on-one? I mean, is that the defensive answer to all the points?
It is, and that's what happened to us in the first half. You know, Jacksonville's got a very talented quarterback who can just sling it all over the field, and they got really good wide receivers. And, you know, we tried to play zone the first half, and we wasn't getting to the quarterback, and he's so good. You give him time, he's going to find an open receiver. So we come in at halftime, and we said, we got to get some pressure on this guy because, you know, he's just sitting back picking us apart. So we went some blitzing and some man, and it helped us out right there. You know, Omar got that pick at the end because we brought Noah Reedy off the end, put a little pressure on him. He probably released the ball sooner than he wanted to.
What is it about your team that you're never out of it? I mean, I've seen a lot of football, Coach. I mean, I have seen a lot of high school football.
Right.
But I know when this guy and those kids over there in blue, if there is time left on the clock and y'all are still in the football game, somebody's going to lose in most cases.
It is.
What is it that makes Piedmont that way?
I just think it's the culture at Piedmont. That's what they're raised from junior high into, you know, JV up to varsity. That, you know, Coach Smith's done such a good job of getting the coaching staff, you know, to be around these kids, to teach them. You know, we're never out of the game. You're never out to lose. You know, our object is to win, and if we're down by 17 points, we're going to find a way to come back and win. You know, we just instill this in our kids, and they bought into it, and I think that's the biggest part is they buy into it. They never think they're out of a game.
Jack, I'm going to ask you the same question because obviously you've engineered quite a few of these comeback victories. I know you've never played really anywhere else, so you may not have a reference point, but in your mind, what is it that goes off that you guys just – we're not going to lose?
I really think it's just the way we carry ourselves, like before the game, during the game, at practice. I just feel like we have that mindset that nobody's going to beat us when we step on the field. And it's like the past teams have really helped that out, like them winning so much and us just believing that we can win just because we play at Piedmont. It's just the name on our chest that we carry.
James, he's obviously special.
He is.
Did you ask Coach to put him in that last defensive game set in the championship game, or did Steve make that call?
Well, I tell you a little story about the Hayes boys. The Hayes boys, when they was younger, they played on the other side of the ball. They played for me.
Yeah.
As they got older,
so you're going to take credit now, right?
I'm going to throw Coach Smith under the bus on this one. His brother and him, they actually started linebacker for me when they was in the 9th grade, and then when it was their time to be quarterback, because definitely they're both great quarterbacks. They went to that side of the ball, but he's special. His brother was special, and I just think it's the mentality that they have. My son was like that, and
yep.
They just have that mentality of they're not going to lose and they're not going to back down. I mean, him and his brother both were like that.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. My guess is his mother's probably tired of both of them hauling awards home. You guys probably have to have a second house for all your trophies and stuff. A lot of people talk about the way that the youth is brought up playing football in Piedmont. Right. And, I mean, Steve's even told me this, that the Little League kids do, for the most part, exactly what varsity does, so they grow up with this program.
Right.
How much do you it's like you don't have to teach them once they get to you.
Right.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think if you go and look at like the Hoover, when Hoover was winning every year, that's what they did. They got into the youth league. Coach Smith's done a good job since he was here. He got into the youth league, kind of got involved with the coaches there and stuff like that. But I think if you go back and look at the Hoovers when they was winning, like the Thompsons now, they're all into their youth leagues, and they're running their stuff, and they understand the lingo, the terminology, what we do before they even get to junior high. And then they learn it again in junior high, and then on JV, and then right up to varsity. So, that's all they know. So you really don't have to teach them what to do. You just teach them to play fast. And, that's what we try to do at Piedmont, especially on the defensive ball, is don't make it so complicated and you already know that you can play fast.
You guys win so much. What's it like to lose?
Wow. I'll be honest with you. That's, me and Coach Smith talked about this time and time again. I think he's done such a good job of getting coaches who hate that so much that actually it's to a point that you're scared to lose. I mean, that's why you work so hard to win is because you just don't want that feeling. We've had it times at Piedmont, but man, we like to win.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Jack, what's it like to lose? Because you don't know that feeling too much. What's it like to lose?
It's not the best feeling. Growing up with Taylor, playing him in any sport, video games, anything, he would always beat me because he was older than me. That's what I'd beat him now at everything else.
Yeah.
But I just hate the feeling of losing, and I guess I got that from just playing with him in the yard and stuff like that, and just having that mentality that losing, it ain't an option.
What is it about him that sets him here next to great players that are here? Because, obviously, this kid's special.
Right. Well, I think players like him,
We should have had him take his headset off. We're going to make his head swell, but
I just think players like him just think there's nothing they can't do. And it's not that they don't think they can't. They know they can. And when you get players like that who just know they're not going to lose, know they can't do anything on the field, it brings out a special person like him.
You guys were down, I think I heard, by 17 twice this past Friday night. There's a lot of teams, James, that would just fold a tent.
Right.
But obviously this bunch in blue's not one of them. What was said that got things going?
Well, they just been in our system for so long that it wasn't nothing really was said. It was what was being done to us. And they hated it. When they come to the sideline, they'd get together and say, man, we got to do something about this. Let's go. Pick it up, defense. Pick it up, offense. And, it's just such a good gel team that everybody's got each other's back, but they're going to get on to, each other when they're not doing good and just kind of encourage them. And I think that was just it. They even though it was down by 17, we've been down like that before in state championship games, and like last year or the year before last was down by 10, Mobile Christian, and we was in the locker room and said, guys, we're only down by 10. We've been down by that more. But I think it's just the mentality of our team. These guys just know they can always come back, and they pick each other up.
Well, we've talked about losing, but let's talk about the loss to Ohatchee last year. How bad you guys want to go to Creekbank Friday?
Well, it's like that. It's like that every week. We don't. It's not necessarily Ohatchee. It's Ohatchee this week because of the next game. And that's what we try and instill in our players. It don't matter who you play. It's who you play this week. We really, as a coaching staff, Coach Smith does a good job of this too. Is we get them set for this game, and it don't matter if it's Ohatchee or whoever else we're playing. That's who we play this week. Not necessarily we lost to them last year, but that's who we play in this week.
So last year is no motivation at all.
Well, our motivation is the state championship. You know, we tell our kids, and I mean that's true. I mean you'll hear that time and time again if you ever come to Piedmont. Is we tell our kids, you know, we're playing for a state championship. We're not playing to beat, you know, so and so or a rivalry or this or that. We're playing for that last game, you know, of the year, which is a state championship. And for you to get there, you got to win all these games.
Yep. And it almost takes an unbeaten season now, doesn't it?
It does. It does. You know. Our area, you know, for, 16 years I've been at Piedmont, it's just been always good. You know, you're either playing them in the semifinal, the quarterfinals, semifinals, you know, and we got such a great area that, you know, any team can beat you any given night.
You know, I read something the other day about Coach Saban, and it made a ton of sense to me. And as much as fans and media want to talk about, you know, this team versus this team, and like Lane Kiffin versus Nick Saban, or, you know, Steve Smith versus, you know, Paul Benefield or whoever. Everybody says Coach Saban's approach is it's all about Alabama. It's a nameless opponent every week. Is that really the way this is?
It is, and it's funny you said that because that's what we talk to our kids all the time about. You know, it's you go out and play against Piedmont every night because if you can play the best game you can, you know that's Piedmont football. And if you can get out there and be perfect on defense, offense, and the kicking game, you know, that's what we strive for, you know.
So talk about Ohatchee just a little bit, just to kind of give us a preview for Friday night. I mean, what are your thoughts on Ohatchee and where they are and especially that offense they run, because it's different.
It is, and you know they're like they are every year. They're hard nosed, they're tough, and they're going to be coached well. And you're going to have to get out there and do the right things, or you know you can end up getting beat again. You know they're you know it's a good football team, good coaching staff, and you know they're going to bring their A game. You know we got to go there. You know we got to go to the creek bank. So.
Well, let's first off mention why James is here tonight. He'd probably rather be somewhere else, knowing him the way I do. But Coach Smith is under the weather.
He is.
But you talked to him today.
I did. I texted him today. He's feeling better. You know, he's just a little bit under the weather, and you know he had been here tonight, but the doctor's order told him, said, hey, we want you kind of stay home for a couple of days. You know, get some rest. We'll give you this medicine, get you going, so we can get you back for Friday night.
And that's what everybody wants to see is Coach Smith prowling those sidelines.
Yeah, we kind of like having him around, but you know, that's what we have at Piedmont. You know, he come in and met with us, you know, yesterday and said, listen, guys, he said, I've been sent home by the doctors and, you know, y'all got it. He said, I fully trust y'all, you know. So, we got a great coaching staff. You know, they know what to do. And here's the thing. I was telling the kids when we met, I said, you know, the whole coaching staff could be gone and y'all could run practice because we do the same stuff all the time. It's just repetition, you know, what we do at Piedmont. So, you know, it's no secret. So
you coaches are creatures of habit.
We are.
There's no doubt about that.
And I tell you, Coach Smith is a real creature of habit. He don't like changing nothing.
All right. Well, we're going to let Coach Blanchard get out, and we're going to bring in some of Jack's teammates, and we're going to hand out a little hardware here. Coach, thank you so much for coming down. Appreciate you doing that for Coach Smith, and we'll be right back to Struts in just a minute here on FNN.
In Alabama, school spirit is in the air on Friday nights. At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're giving our customers the opportunity to show their school spirit every day with our new Spirit debit card. We've designed a unique card for every Calhoun County school that includes the school's logo. So every time you use the card, you're showing your school spirit. Come in and get your school spirit debit card today. We've got spirit at FNN Bank. Service, solutions, and strength. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You will be glad you did.
Cofield Asphalt Refinishing is Northeast Alabama's go-to source for exterior parking lot maintenance. We provide a broad range of products and services in the asphalt, seal coating, and striping industry. Whether it's for a commercial or industrial customer or helping serve other contractors like ourselves, we're here to serve our community with over 25 years experience. Get a free estimate. Call us at 256-454-5336 or contact Cofield Asphalt Refinishing.
Okay, welcome back. We got a booth full of Piedmont Bulldogs, and I'm just here in the middle trying to keep it all organized. Omarion Pope to my far right, Austin Estes to my immediate right. Of course, everybody knows Jack Hayes, and Landon Smart down on the far end. And Jack says Landon's got to talk, right?
Yeah, he does.
Okay, now, Landon, grade. You're senior? You're junior. I know you're a senior. Omarion, you're a senior, aren't you? Okay. All right, good deal. Well, let's see. Where do we start? All right, since you're kind of the guy of the hour, how many awards you got? You ever count them?
I haven't really counted them.
You got more than your brother?
Probably not yet, but I probably
You got
will
another
before.
year, though.
I'll probably have more than him when I get done.
Is there anything that he did that you'd like to beat or equal?
Win 2 state championships.
So he did that. Yep, he did. I remember. Okay. Well, I mean, you got 2 more shots.
I do.
You got this year and of course next year, your senior year.
Mm-hmm.
How good's this team compared to the team that won state when you were a freshman? Can you tell a difference?
Not really. I mean, we got a really good defense that when the offense isn't working, that like our best, they pick us up and sometimes get turnovers on defense and get points on the board and get us rolling. And then offense, we got just as many weapons as we did in 2019 with Braden Morgan stepping up and being the runner he is. He's getting better and better every week.
Right.
And Parker Thornton just blocking and running and catching the ball. He can do it all. And our offensive line's really stepped up these past 5 weeks and just progressively got better and better. And then our receivers, Austin coming back 2 years, got faster, got more physical, everything. He just gotten better. Our whole receiving core, can't really tell a difference.
Is he your go-to guy?
I would say this year, Austin's been my go-to guy for the past 2 years.
Is that your? I mean, I can remember in the Welborn game we did last year. It was like, we'd run an ISO camera on him because we knew you were likely going to throw to him. What's that like for you? I mean, when the ball snapped and you've got to go find a crease or beat a guy for him to get you.
Oh, my job's just to go out there and get open so Jack can throw it to open space. So that's all I try to do.
Does he drop them ever?
Rarely. He rarely drops them.
Is that one? Do quarterbacks think about things like that a lot when you're getting ready to throw the ball? I mean, if you got 2 guys that you see that I can get either one of them, do you have time mentally to process, well, Austin's going to catch it if I get it near him? I mean, do you think about that ever?
Not really. I really can't think that much, or I'll start thinking too much and I don't know where to throw it. So I just react and throw it really to the first person I see that's open.
Austin, how good is he?
He's pretty good. I mean, ever since I've moved to Piedmont my 8th grade year, he's all I've ever had throw to me. So he ain't too bad, I guess.
Well, now I understand his brother was pretty good too.
I wasn't here to watch him play, but I heard he was pretty good as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Omarion, you had a big play this past week. You give me the headset there for just a minute. Let's let him talk about that big play. Talk about the big play in the game that kind of turned things around from what everybody said. What happened?
We just needed a big play to happen. They got inside the 20 in 2 plays, and we just had to have something happen, and it happened to come to me. I made a play on it.
And went the distance, right?
Yes, sir, 92 yards.
And nobody was going to catch him either, were they, Austin? What's it feel like to do something like that in a football game where so much is on the line and it's such a big deal?
You just got to be able to make a play, and big-time players got to make big plays, and it just had to happen.
There you go. All right. Big-time players make big-time plays.
Mm-hmm.
That means a lot, doesn't it?
It does.
And I mean, it's a standard, I think, that a lot of guys on your team live up to.
Yeah.
What is it about Coach Smith and Coach Blanchard and the other coaches that motivates you guys or gets you guys in that mindset where you're never out of it?
Yeah, I just think the way Coach Blanchard and Coach Smith and all the other coaches talk to us, and we don't have a bunch of D1 athletes and go in different places. We just got a bunch of guys that are like really good high school players, and we know how to win, and they instill that in us, and we just go out there and do it on Friday nights, and just that mentality that we carry that we're not going to lose.
Watch this, Austin. Look at this face. Does that look like somebody that would like cut your heart out? That's a baby face. But I tell you what, when he puts that helmet on, Amarian, he's the assassin, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
How many nicknames do you have? Give me some of them. Let me see if I've heard them all. I know Jack Attack. I've heard Jack Attack.
Just Jack.
Jack, yep.
Coach Smith's dad calls me Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper, okay. What else, Austin? What else has he got? You guys chime in.
Just QB1.
QB1?
that's
He's definitely QB1. There's no doubt about that. How much fun you guys have being Piedmont? I mean, it's got to be just a thrill to know that, you guys are the favorites most of the time and that you're in the contention for a state championship almost every year, and you got the great facilities up there where you get to play home. I mean, how cool is the Field of Champions? I mean, that's just that to me, it's just like you guys live a dream.
Yeah. Well,
I know y'all are young, and you're not like grown up yet and any of that kind of stuff, and you're just kids going to school. But do you realize really what you got?
I don't think we really realize how good we got it. Just growing up as kids, and we were playing pickup football while the older kids were playing, and just wanting to be them when we get older, and looking up to them and how they played, and just couldn't wait to get under those lights on the turf for the Field of Champions and just compete and play.
Now you were a ball boy, right?
Yes,
You're a manager.
Yes, sir, I was.
Did you ever do that? Amarian, you did it?
Yes, sir, I did.
And did you? Okay, so a lot of the guys that have done that have wound up playing in state championship games, and it's like just a progression in that community. That's a pretty big deal too, then, to wear that jersey and get to go out there and do those kind of things.
Yeah, it was. Playing on Friday nights before the game. No other team wanted us in manager football because we would hand it to them, but it was just a fun experience getting it. When we went to the state championship, when my brother played, getting to go and do everything they did, because Coach Smith considered us just as part of his team as them, and we got to go stay in the hotels and go do whatever they did, and we were treated like players. We got rings when they won. We got everything that they got. It was just a cool experience, and getting to do it as players is just 10 times better.
Amarian, what makes Coach Smith special?
He loves every kid like their own, and he just coaches them to be what's expected, and he's a good man off the field. He tries to coach about life, and he says if he's only known as a coach, then he's failed his job, and he knows how to teach about life a lot. And
will he light you up?
He will sometimes.
All right, give us a story. When's the last time you got lit up?
Well, Coach Blanchard's my DB coach. So.
Yeah. So, well, I imagine he's tough too.
He can be.
What about you? See, you're kind of give Austin the headset back here. You're kind of a move-in, so you probably haven't had as many opportunities to mess up as the rest of them.
Oh, I've had my fair share. I've got a couple of chewings here and there for sure.
What'd you do? I mean, and what'd you learn from it?
Definitely just everything's got to be, full speed, and you got to give your effort 100% every time, whether, it's just a blocking play or whatever. You don't know how much you mean to a little play, even if it's backside, but, things always can end up coming back your way, and I think I learned my lesson after I got my butt chewed that game. But
all right, now I'm going to ask all three of you here. Other than does baby boy here get treated special? Huh?
No, I don't think so.
Or is he harder on him?
I'd say he's harder.
Is he harder on you?
I would say I have to go get the play from him after every
you get
play.
more chances to get chewed on.
Yeah, I do. I would say he's probably harder on me than anybody else. Or Sloan, the kicker, his son. He's pretty hard on Sloan.
Is he hard on Sloan?
Yeah, he is.
Well, that doesn't surprise me either. But listen, what obviously state championship's the goal. Is there anybody you want to play on the way?
I mean, I wouldn't say
you don't care.
It's whoever.
Who's next?
Who's next? It's the next person up.
All right, guys. Well, listen, we're gonna definitely get. Let's get Dr. Farr over here and get the award handed out because we got to move on here. All right, Doc. I'm gonna give you my headset. You know what's in the box.
Oh yeah.
And you know this young man.
I know it's not a bunch of gobbledygook. It's an actual award. This is your Player of the Week award. It's FNN Harrison Sports Chiropractic. Take that box, Jim. Presented to you, man. You did amazing last week. Super proud of you, and good luck this week, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'll give it back to you, Jim.
I'll see you in a little bit.
Yes, sir.
All right, good deal. That is Dr. Farr from Harrison Sports Chiropractic. Jack, just another one to add to the collection. And we appreciate you guys coming down. Hope you enjoyed your meal, and thanks a lot, and congratulations on a great season, and I'm sure you're going to be in the mix the rest of the way.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, White Plains is next. We'll be back with more coming up on the Friday Night Network.
Serving Calhoun County for over 30 years, Crawford Office Supply offers selection, convenience, and low prices. Choose from a wide variety of office furnishings featured in their huge showroom. With savings of 50 to 70% off scratch and dent items. You'll find it all from pens and paper to janitorial supplies at Crawford Office Supply, including on-site printing, all backed up by unmatched personal service and free delivery to local business. Crawford Office Supply, 301 South Layton Avenue in Anniston. Remember, buy local, it matters.
Do you own a business that needs paving or concrete work? Or are you thinking about building a new home or making some major renovations? On jobs this big, you need to make the right choice on who does your work. That's why you need to call Doug Delaney at LEC, Lincoln Excavating and Construction. They specialize in asphalt and concrete paving, grading, and new home construction. Just look around. You'll see their work all over the place. Job quotes on request, pricing that's fair, and a finished product that's second to none. That's LEC, Lincoln Excavating and Construction.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Network Tuesday Night High School Football Coaches Show. With us now, our final coach of the evening, Coach Chandler Tyree from the White Plains Wildcats. Joe Medley rejoins us here at the table. And you guys coming off a nice little win this past Friday night. Now, I got a question. How does this go in your record when you weren't there?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I hadn't even thought about it. I was just excited for our kids. And
where'd you get to watch the game from? I mean, did you get to go and stand off?
I didn't get to go and stand off, so I just got updates and stuff. And it was the worst 2.5 hours of my life. Because by Friday, I was starting to feel a little bit better, so I was moving around. And it was just not being able to be there with our kids. And just because, when you're a competitor, whether or not you play or you're – I like to be there, and I like to be with our kids. But I had full faith in Coach Sprayberry. I knew he was going to do a great job. And we joked with him. He's 1-0.
Yep.
He actually, during baseball season at the end when I had some health issues, he took over and was 2-0 then. So he's 3-0 filling in for me. So anytime I'm sick or something's going on with me, you can expect good things to happen at White Plains.
Coach, there's a T-shirt in that. I'm telling you, 3-0.
He said 1 and done.
Yeah, 1 and done.
That's what he said.
But see, I think there's money to be made there. 3-0, Sprayberry.
Ain't no doubt. Ain't no doubt.
I mean, he's the guy.
He is.
He's everybody's backup.
Yep.
So you got the Earl Morrill of assistant coaches there, right?
Ain't no doubt. Yeah. And we don't have a lot of people on our staff. I was joking. I got to hear Rush Prope speak last week, and he was talking about how they had 18 to 20 coaches at Valdosta. I was like, well, we got 4. I said, we got 4. We got 4 paid staff members, and we got a couple of volunteers. I said, and that's from 7th through 12th. So we all coach junior high. Coach Sprayberry is actually our head junior high coach and our offensive coordinator. And so our coaches, everybody around our program works extremely hard. And if people don't understand what goes into a football program and what goes in behind closed doors. And so our numbers are not real big, but our coaches work their tail off. I couldn't ask for a better staff.
Chandler, for those who haven't experienced it, just what was last week like for you?
It was rough. For 3 or 4 days, it kicked my butt. And thankfully, I have the best wife in the world, and I guess I'm a little biased in that, but she took care of me, and she made sure we got to the doctor as soon as possible and made sure that I got the antibody shot and all that, and she made sure that I had liquid IV and I was drinking Gatorade and I was walking around my neighborhood 4 to 5 times a day just to get up and make sure I wasn't just sitting there. And so she really took care of me, and I'm grateful for that and grateful for her because it's a super busy time of year and she don't see me a whole lot. So secretly I think she enjoyed the extra time with me, even if it was COVID. But it kicked my tail. I was struggling, and it kind of puts you in kind of a dark place because you can't do a whole lot, you can't go nowhere. But people in our community, parents that brought us food and stuff like that meant a ton. Our kids showing up on Thursday to bring food from our Thursday night get together over to the house so that we could eat, and just to be able to stand on my porch and them stand in the road and just to be able to talk to them.
Yeah, I saw the picture, I think, that was on Facebook of, like, you in the yard and them out in the street.
You know, that's why you get into this. Like, you want to impact young people's lives, and then for them to come and do that. And kids are going to be kids. They could have went and did anything they wanted to on Thursday night because we have walkthrough before school, so we give them off on. But for them to take time out of their night to come do it meant more to me than they would ever know.
All right, tell us where you are with this program. I mean, you've been there a little bit now, so, I mean, what kind of progress are you making? I mean,
you know, it's tricky and it's tough when you look at the numbers and you look at it's tricky to see. It's tough, but we're in the toughest region in 4A, and I honestly believe that. Jacksonville, my first year at White Plains, Jacksonville played for a state championship. Last year, Hanley won a state championship, and it looks like they may be on their way to
winning another
one. Jacksonville's really good. I mean, we know how good Piedmont is, and Jacksonville stood toe-to-toe with Piedmont last week. Cherokee County's really good at what they do. They play the game the right way. Cleveland County has came out of nowhere, and they are scoring. I was so proud of the way we played defensively against them because they've been putting up points against everybody they played. And we know how good Alexandria was, and for a half last week, they put up a really good fight against Alexandria. So our regions is extremely difficult, and it is what it is. We don't make excuses. We don't beat around the bush. We show up to play. We prepare, but I feel like our kids are working hard. I feel like that our coaches are working hard. I feel like the program is being put in. We just need a couple of things to bounce the right way for us. We need some lucky breaks. I mean, it's every week. There's no easy ball game for us. Every week is a battle for us, and we understand that. And I'm thrilled to death of where we're heading and what our team's doing and what the effort that I'm getting out of our guys. And as long as your players buy into your program, then that's all that really matters.
Going into the game with Anniston this week, can you give us an update on Hayden Howard and how he's doing?
Really don't know. You know, when you have a concussion, you don't really know that timeline. You get in concussion protocol, and then you have to do probably the worst test that you've ever have to do in your life, because you have to get out there and set ups and push ups and run and do all this stuff to get released. And if you're still having those symptoms, that's not an easy process to get through. And so we don't really know where we're at with him. I know if he can play, he'll be playing, and he'll do everything he can to get on the field. But we really just don't know at this point.
All right, here's my next question. If we'd had time tonight, I was going to get to this and actually play one of them that I'd steal off of YouTube or something. Where does those pregame talks come from? Because you are one fiery dude, man.
That's just who I am. I think when I played, that's who I was. And you know, I don't know, man. I feel like kids, for some reason, they'll buy into that. Whether or not but if they feel like you're about to run through that wall, I think they'll run through that wall. And so I'm just a guy, and that's who I am. I want to be successful. I want White Plains to get to the point of where my vision is, and we work hard. And I told y'all, we work hard every week, and I want to go win every game we play. And in our region, it's really tough. But when we walk out of that locker room, I feel like we're going to go win every game we play, and that's the way I want our kids to feel.
But it's a tight line, Chandler. I mean, because if they don't buy into it, if they think it's fake, they won't buy into it.
No.
You know that.
No, I mean, if they think it's just fake energy, they know fake. Kids are not idiots.
Yeah, kids are not stupid.
No, believe me, it's not fake. Like sometimes,
and I know it's. I mean,
sometimes when I get done in there, I have to kind of walk off to the side and kind of get my breath a little bit and say, "Did you just wear yourself out before the game?" And kind of get my emotions back into check. Because one thing is you want your kids to play with some emotion, but you don't want to waste all that emotion in the first quarter, because if you do that, then you're going to struggle and start having issues with cramping and different things like that throughout the rest of the game. So we want to come out strong, but we don't really want to come out and use all of our emotion in that first. We don't want to play off of emotion, but I want them to be ready to play. I want them to run through a brick wall for me. I want them to know that I would run through a brick wall, and if we go to a fight, I'm gonna fight with you. And I think they know that. I think they realize that, and I just want them more than anything know I love them. And whatever we're in this thing together.
Chandler, I have a theory that linebackers could all go on to be really good preachers. Is that true?
It feels like it. In my book, I have a little bit of my great grandfather was a Southern Baptist preacher, and it kind of, I guess God kind of carried it over to me. But you know, I'm thankful for the opportunities that I get with that, and I think you definitely, if you have a linebacker that's a preacher, you're definitely going to get some fire and brimstone for sure.
All right, I got one more for you, and then we're going to let you get out, and we're going to get Walker, and who else did you bring for me
Dylan
tonight?
Barksdale.
Dylan Barksdale in here for our final segment. But who came up with the gray uni ideas? Because that it really looks good.
I got to take credit for that.
You're going to take credit?
I got to take credit for the gray.
Blue numbers, white trim.
It looks good.
Wildcats on the front.
The kids like it. You know, it's something different. And, you know, like we said, with us trying to build a program and trying to get it to you got to build some excitement. And kids love that kind of stuff. So when we come out, they better be glad they wanted them this last week. Because I was about to burn the all-gray uniforms. So they better be glad we won this past week. Because the gray uniforms might have been no more if we wouldn't have won this last week.
All right, well, a gray uniform won our uniform of the year last year from Piedmont. Maybe a White Plains gray uniform could win it this year.
Hey, I hope so. I think if you put our helmet with that uniform, it's one of the best-looking ones around this area.
It does look good.
You guys rock them better than the Detroit Lions do, that's for sure.
All right, Chandler Tyree from White Plains. Maybe we can get you back before the season's over.
Alrighty.
Good luck against Anniston Friday night, and thanks for coming out.
Hey, thanks for having us. Go Wildcats.
All right, Coach Chandler Tyree. We're back with Walker Osteen and Dylan Barksdale straight ahead here on the Friday Night Network.
If you want to experience what makes a great community grocery store, stop in Ohatchee Discount Supermarket on Highway 77. It all starts with a clean store, friendly service, and well-stocked shelves, full of what I need, like fresh produce, bread and baked items, lots of meats, drinks and snacks, laundry and cleaning supplies, and so much more. They're open daily, 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. And since they're so close to the lake, they're always good for a last-minute cookout. Great prices to boot. Ohatchee Discount Supermarket.
Hi, I'm Dave Mack for Advantage Tire on Highway 202 in Anniston. Most of you know about the new and used tires and rims we sell. But I bet there's a lot of things we do that you don't know about. We have a full lineup of ASE certified mechanics that are ready to take care of just about everything you can imagine, like this. He's working on a brake job right here. At Advantage Tire, we've got the latest diagnostic tools. These are all digital. This is wireless. Most people have a wired. We got wireless. But on top of that, when it comes to diagnostics, we still handle your alignment with the latest technology available. And don't forget, we do shocks and struts too. So the next time this happens to you, you know where to go. Advantage Tire, Highway 202, Anniston.
Welcome back to the final segment here on the Tuesday Night High School Football Coaches Show. A couple of members of the White Plains Wildcats set to join us here. We've got Walker Osteen to my left and Dylan Barksdale to my right. Well, let's start with Mr. Osteen here. You had a pretty nice night this past Friday. Where'd that come from?
The line was blocking good, and that's, I don't know, pretty much it.
Is that the best I'm going to get out of you tonight?
Yeah, I think Dylan knows more about that.
Are you going to talk? Are you going to talk, and I'll just turn away from Walker?
Oh, I just started so bad.
I don't know. The line was blocking good, and that helped us out a lot. So we just, I don't know.
Neither one of you know. I'm going to get Coach Randall to make y'all run or something. All right, let's talk a little bit about what did it feel like to win. Let's go there.
It felt good.
I know you guys went into the game thinking that it would be one you could win. But what was the feeling like? When it was over, I saw a lot of people out on the field, and obviously, you guys, a lot of support.
Yeah, it felt good to have everybody there and supporting and come out on the field and celebrating with us.
What about it, Dylan?
Yeah, it means a lot to give the seniors a win on homecoming, so it just helps them out a lot.
You guys have had some pretty strong battles with Anniston, and you got them this Friday night. You're their homecoming, I think. Is that right?
No clue.
Talk a little bit about what it is about playing Anniston that seems to bring out the best in White Plains, in football, basketball, whatever it is. What is it about playing Anniston that really kind of gets you guys going and really doing your thing?
I don't really know. Just going and competing like always.
Right.
I don't know. They're just one of our better opponents, and it just – when we got somebody better to play against, and it just makes us want to do better.
I was asking some of the guys from Piedmont earlier. I'll ask you both this because you both play football and basketball. What's it like to go from playing football to playing basketball from a conditioning standpoint? Because it's two totally different, mindsets that you have to have or skill sets that you have to play both. What's it like to transition from the football field to the basketball court?
It's a little bit tougher because in basketball you're just always running. In football you got breaks in between. So I'd say basketball is probably harder.
Yeah, I feel like football gets me ready for basketball, but basketball just takes it to another level. You're always running, so it wears you down a little bit more.
You guys obviously had a good basketball season last year, so I'll ask you about basketball once football's over. What do you think the expectations for the team is this year?
For basketball?
Yeah.
Same expectations, still win games and
contend for the region.
Same expectations.
Try to get back to Jacksonville.
Yes, sir. Well, I just think we're going to win, and
I know that's what Coach Randall expects of you.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about Coach Tyree and how you think he's progressed the football program from where it's been in the past?
Well, I think he's done a good job.
Kind of led you guys.
Yeah, led us in the right direction.
Champ?
Yeah, he helped us out a lot. He turned it around, and I think he's going to help us in the long run.
All right, well, they're not the two most talkative guys in the world for sure, but we appreciate you guys coming over. What'd you have for supper? What
I had the hangover burger.
Did it work? Was it good?
Yeah, it was good.
All right.
I had the down south burger.
Yeah, it was good?
Yes, sir.
All right, good deal. Well, thank you both for coming out. Congratulations on the win against Hillmore County this past Friday night. Time for us to say good night. We'll put the graphic up for where we will be this coming Friday. We're headed to the Creek Bank here on the Friday Night Network. Piedmont and the Ohatchee Indians from Roy C. Owens Field will be there with the countdown to kickoff starting at 6:30, 7 o'clock for the kick. Join all of us, James Hardy, of course, Coach Bullock, myself, Jim Jacobs will be there to bring you all of the action along with the rest of the FNN crew live from Ohatchee. Rematch of last year's upset by the Indians of Piedmont, and we'll see if they can maybe pull it off again. In the meantime, that's going to do it for us. Thank you again to our folks behind the scenes. Kirby's here with us tonight. Of course, Jake Jacobs producing behind the computer. For my friends Joe Medley and all of the coaches that came out tonight, the Piedmont folks, the folks from Spring Garden, and, of course, all of the folks from White Plains here tonight joining us at Struts in Oxford. We'll be back next Tuesday with another edition of the Tuesday Night High School Football Coaches Show for everyone here at Struts and the Friday Night Network. Have a good evening.